Good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about driving practices that need to be improved. If you don't know, I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. So let's go ahead and get it. When you get into the vehicle, the most important thing is that you adjust your seat. If your seat is too far away, you will overextend your arms and you would overextend your legs. You will lift your heel up off the ground and you won't be able to pivot your foot between the gas and brake. So it's extremely important that you're able to pivot your foot between the gas and brake so you can definitely feel the pedals. Next, you want to get on that seatbelt. That's extremely important that you get on your seatbelt so you can definitely uh, be safe in the vehicle. Let's go ahead and talk about you giving proper signals. You want to signal 100 feet or half a block. This allows people behind you to be able to see what's going on with your vehicle. Usually, a lot of beginning drivers, adults and teens, signal too late or signal too early. So, if you do either of those things, you're going to confuse other drivers behind you. So, it's important that you have good timing with your signals. The standard is 100 feet or half a block. This allows us, meaning humans, to see the light in our eye and then react to that. Let's go ahead and talk about checking traffic. A lot of adults and teens, because I drive adults and teens, literally pull out in front of a car, and that's extremely scary. So you want to be able to look at traffic, judge how fast the traffic is moving, then where there is a suitable gap. A gap is a space between cars where you can pull out safely, always keep your turn short, and you want to turn. And here's a steering wheel. This is a special application steering wheel for my 68 RS Camaro, which is a specifically designed vehicle for quarter mile competition. But you want to turn smoothly into the turn and then turn out. A lot of drivers overturn or underturn. So you do not want to overturn or underturn your steering wheel. So we've talked about suitable gaps. We've talked about having your seat adjusted properly. Let's go ahead and talk about steering and lane usage. You want to keep both of the hands on the wheel. We know there's more than one way to turn your steering wheel. There's 9 and 3. There's 10 and 2. There's 7 and 5. And oh, by the way, AAA, which is a well-known automotive company that sells insurance, also teaches people how to drive. They recommend 7 and 5. We know there's an airbag in the middle. Again, this is a special application steering wheel, but you do not want to have your thumbs on the wheel. Some people do palm the wheel. Some people turn the wheel underhand and throw the wheel. I try to have my beginning drivers, adults, teens, or special clients come in and work on that steering. It's really important that you learn to turn hand over hand in, hand over hand out. I have brothers and sisters in the UK, in the Middle East. We know some people do hand to hand, which is fine, and hand to hand back. I find out a lot of beginning drivers, adults, particularly in teens, just are turning the wheel too slow, and the car ends up making a really wide turn. You don't want to make a wide turn. You want to have great control of your vehicle so you really maintain your best driving. That's extremely important. You want to keep your vehicle in the center of a lane. Typically, beginning drivers are looking down, just like I'm looking down at the steering wheel, and they're not looking up. So if you're looking down, you're going to drift to the right edge of the road, or you're going to veer to the left. So it's just like walking down a hallway, walking down a sidewalk. I tell my drivers, look ahead, aim high, and don't look down because low eyes, you won't be able to see. I want you to look up. I want you to be able to see things coming from the left, see things in front of you, see things coming from the right. It's really important that we develop great observational skills. Next, you want to stay to the right of the center lane because when we drive in neighborhoods, car doors can fly open and come out, and people can come out. Also, if you're too far to the left, you're going to be on the opposite side of the road. I've had a lot of beginners literally forget their left and right. So if you cut that turn too short, making a left turn, you'll cut it too short, like turning in front of a car that's coming at us, you'll go in the wrong lane. So I try to teach my students go up and make that 90-degree turn. And then you have a really smooth right hand turn. Again, I like hand over hand into the turn and then hand over hand out. We know there's an airbag in the middle, and I know I'll get comments. That's fine. Let's talk about staying in one lane as much as possible. Usually, adults and teens are in the middle, middle left, middle, or middle right. I wanted you to be in the middle right because in America, we drive on the right hand side. I realize I have some other people who are in Australia, other parts of the country where they literally drive on the left. In the UK, I believe, and also in Australia, they drive on the left side. So you want to work on your good fundamentals. You want to work on good steering. Let's talk about lane changing. A lot of beginning drivers are really stiff, really tight, and they overturn the wheel. And if you overturn the wheel, you're going to end up drifting out of your lane to the left or drifting out to the right. Look straight ahead, aim high as far as possible so you can see people coming between cars. If we go to downtown Chicago, downtown Detroit, downtown New York, work on those driving fundamentals, covering the brake, anticipating pedestrians popping out in front of you. And when pedestrians pop out in front of you, they always have the right of way. I popped a question into the chat. What driving practices do you need to improve on? Go ahead and answer that question. You want to signal early. You want to let people know if you're making a lane change to the left, left is down. Mirror, turn signal, blind spot, check your inside mirror, blind spot, blinker, and then look. A lot of beginning drivers and adults turn the wheel as we're going into the lane. That is very scary, and it's also very dangerous. So you, as a beginning driver, take your time. Get used to turning your neck. Again, adults and teens, they turn the wheel. The cars are literally going out of the lane. If we're making a lane change to the right, they turn the. So you want to relax. You shouldn't be stiff and tense. You want to drive with your wrists. You want to relax. I see a lot of drivers, they squeeze the wheel really hard, and it's hard for them to steer. I want to see you relaxed, have a 90-degree in your elbow, relaxing your wrist, and really looking ahead. This is a chance for us to work one-on-one, making 12 to 14 right turns, 12 to 14 left turns. And once you get consistent with your turns where you're braking slowly, you can't make a turn at over 20 miles an hour. You're going to lose control. And if you're jerking the brake and jerking the gas, you're going to lose control. In many parts of North America, particularly where we are, it's very cold. The ground is very cold. So if you hit the brake too hard, we're going to break traction and literally slide across the street, hit another car, and we don't want to have to fill out emergency papers and fill out a fact that we had a collision. So you have to check your blind spot. The flag is behind me. This is my blind spot to my left. This is my blind spot to my right. Don't be scared to look over your shoulder and quickly check your blind spots. When you're driving, if you turn the wheel and look too long, literally you're going to go off the road. That's what beginning drivers do. So you want to quickly check and look. Blind spot just to this area. You don't have to completely turn the wheel because you'll lose control of your vehicle. Let's talk about speed and following distance. You want to maintain a safe speed for the conditions on the road. Pop in, answer the question, what driving practices do you need to improve on? Go ahead and type it in so we can discuss. You want to maintain a legal speed limit. A lot of adults and teens tend to drive 5, 10, 12 under the limit. I taught a young lady about 3 months ago. She came in for a refresher. She did pass her test, thank God, but she was driving too slow. So she had a restricted license. So she can only drive during the day, may not at night. I want all of you who are looking at my content, learn, keep your speed up, go with the flow. If you go too slow, you're going to end up, people will end up tailgating us, road raging us, turning into Kens, turning into Karens, and then they'll tailgate us. They'll cut us off. And it's very scary for me as well as you as an adult or teen because I try to keep the driving environment in the car safe and chilled as it should be. And I want you to focus on driving. I'll focus on the aggressive drivers behind us. And many of you don't even know because I don't say anything, but you have to be aware that you got to drive at the speed limit. Adhere to posted speed limits around the curve. A lot of adults and teens, if the speed limit is 45, you're going in at 50, 55, and then you overturn the wheel. The rear of the car spins out, and we could go into a ditch. We could cross a double yellow line. That is really scary too. So we want to reduce our speed as we go into curves. And I want to see you accelerating out really smooth. And as we go into the curve, you should be gradually turning the wheel, and the car should be really smooth. Good drivers are consistent. And I try to have you have consistency by going around the school twice, 4 right-hand turns. We're looking before we go. When we go into neighborhoods, I have you go at the end of the intersection. I have you stop. I have you look left, right, and left. And then you turn hand over hand in. And then you accelerate out. Never hit the gas really hard, because you will upset the chassis of the car, and then you will lose control. So it's really important that you are aware. And once you are aware of that, then you will definitely be more consistent. You want to maintain a 2-second following distance. You find that following distance out by stationary object. It could be a telephone pole. It could be a mailbox. Once that vehicle passes you, 1001, 1002, then this way you know that you're safe. Slow down when you change lanes or you're being tailgated, because if you suddenly accelerate behind you, they will end up tailgating you. And a lot of drivers do that. They're a lot more aggressive today. They're not patient. Whether I'm driving an adult or teen, I try to keep the environment safe. Responsiveness to weather. We've had a lot of wind advisories in this part of the country. Literally, the car is being pushed to the left or pushed to the right. You're going to have to hold the steering wheel firmly, not gripping it too hard. And you have to keep your car straight in the lane. It's extremely important that you check that and have good speed control. Reduce overall speed during adverse weather conditions. Drive smoothly. You don't want to jerk the wheel left. You don't want to jerk the wheel right. Let's talk about highway. Getting your speed up, accelerating on a ramp. A lot of beginning drivers don't accelerate. I'm sorry, you don't. And then what happens, there's a semi truck coming from Canada, there's a semi truck coming from Chicago, and they can't change a lane. I'm looking in the mirror saying, oh my God, we will get ran over. So I'm praying to you, push the gas, accelerate up to speed so you can merge out at 55 to 60 really nicely so you can blend in. On your road test, DMV test, if you don't accelerate properly, you will be marked down. So you got to get your speed up on that ramp. That is super important. Signal prior to merging. A lot of beginning drivers don't look. They just merge out and you're going to cut off a car. And also you have to check your blind spot. Particularly observe vehicles in adjoining lanes. Is this a semi truck? Is this a large vehicle? Because a lot of times adults and teens are accelerating really fast and the momentum is literally carrying us out of the lane. So control your speed, merge out properly, mirror, turn signal, blind spot, get that speed up. You want to frequently check your rearview mirror. A lot of beginning drivers do not do that. They don't check their mirrors, and then you will be marked down. So it's important that you check your mirrors, have great speed control, you're consistent. Stay consistent, be consistent. You will show your driver, your caregiver, hey, I'm a consistent driver. I deserve to drive, because if you're not going to demonstrate control, you won't pass your test. And if you don't demonstrate confidence, your caregivers, your guardians will not let you drive, because they'll say, you drive scary. I'm not going to let you drive my car. So now you're sitting at home. Signal and exit well in advance. You're traveling at 60, 65, 70. Signal early to let people know what you're doing so you can gradually adjust your speed to get into that deacceleration lane, and you're not going 55 or 60 around a sharp curve with Chevron alignment signs, and then you lose control. Next, let's talk about passing a vehicle. Do you have sufficient spacing? Are you looking in your mirror? Are you looking over your shoulder? It's mirror, turn signal, blind spot. You check, you accelerate through that lane change. A lot of beginning drivers put their foot on the brake. And if you put your foot on the brake, you're going to lose control. And that car behind us is going 55, 60, 70, and all of a sudden they almost hit us. And you don't realize it, but it's really important that you do that. So when we're doing our classes, take notes on that. Provide 2 seconds of distance for vehicles passing you. Be aware of what's going on. If this brought you value today and you learned something today, subscribe to my channel. Bye.